So what to make of this economy if you're in the industrial real estate space? Can you expect a sustainable upturn in global trade? And can you buy into reports that show manufacturing is on the upswing in the United States and in China? Well, we've got an expert. Hamid Moghadam is the CEO of AMB Property, which operates industrial properties throughout the United States, primarily around airports, seaports, and major highways, as well as shipping points. He joins us from San Francisco. Hamid, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Pimm.
Hamid, give us a little bit of an insight into where we are in the cycle right now. Have we already hit the trough?
We think we have. Actually, you introduced us as a U.S.-based company. We operate in 15 different countries around the world, and I think there are early signs of recovery in the majority of the economies in which we operate. So I'm reasonably optimistic for the next 6 or 9 months.
Talk a little bit about container volumes, air cargo tonnage. Are you seeing stabilization or even growth?
Yes, we are. Air cargo and container traffic in the U.S. is up about 6% from the troughs. But more importantly, we've had a couple of years of decline in global trade. In fact, global trade was down in double digits, about 15% in aggregate. And that's pretty unusual because consumption was only down 2% from the peak. So basically, trade volumes, production, and all these different measures, including inventories that are important to our business, fell a lot more than final consumption did. So there would be an expectation that there would be a rebuilding of those inventories, even in the case of a modest recovery. So that gives rise to our optimism.
All right, well, let's talk about the current outlook. What about filling existing lease space, and then tell us about rents?
I think that's going to take a little while because real estate and industrial real estate is somewhat lagged from the real economy. The first thing that needs to happen is that people need to use more fully the space that they've already leased. So the warehouses will go from 70–80% utilization to full utilization. Once they can't live with any of that space, they need to lease new space, and that's when we'll see the demand, hence the lag. So we really think it's going to be more towards the early to middle of next year where all of this will translate into net new demand for industrial real estate.
All right, now in anticipation of that, you've been doing something with the balance sheet, right? You've been trying to bolster the balance sheet of AMB to try to take advantage of that future situation, correct?
Sure. When the downturn started at the end of September of last year, we really set out 3 priorities. One is to have the strongest balance sheet in the business. The second was to have a most competitive cost structure in the business. And third, to be really positioned on the other side of this for growth, to take advantage of opportunities in the marketplace. And I think we've done all 3 of those things reasonably well.
Talk a little bit about some of the new initiatives you've been doing with private capital. Why is that?
Well, you know, our business is capital intensive. Real estate, in fact, capital are the bricks and mortar of the real estate business. So we source capital both in the public markets, also in the private markets. And depending on where we are in the cycle, it may make more sense to be more active in one market as opposed to the other. Today, the public markets are actually quite attractive in terms of raising capital for real estate. There's been a wave of capital raising, equity raising in the REIT industry that started at the end of the first quarter this year. And I think REITs are going to be important players in terms of re-equitizing the real estate business on the other side of this downturn.
All right. I want to thank you very much, Hamid Moghadam. He is the CEO of AMB Property, the real estate investment trust, global real estate investment trust focused on industrial property.